Hey, beautiful friend, it's Christmas night, and I'm definitely ready to go crawl in bed and have a good night's sleep. But I just felt like I needed to get back on and tell you that God isn't going to leave you right here in the middle of this messy part of your story. He is going to see you through, friend. He's going to give you the strength and the faith to keep moving forward. And how do I know that? Because there's stories of millions of people throughout the ages that he has done that very thing for. You are his. He loves you. He calls you by name. He's not going to forsake you. And one day, when people hear and read about your story, it's going to change the way that they think about things. It's going to give them hope. Hope is going to once more beat in their heart because they hear your story, they read your story, and they say, wow, if God can do that for them, then he can surely do it for me too. If God can see them through that hard, difficult, tragic circumstance, those things that happen one after the other, and they can get through, and they can be brave, and they can make it to the other side and still be such a shining light, then maybe, just maybe, I have a chance too. Friend, that is your story. And God reminded me of one of the stories that I absolutely loved once I had read it, and it's the story of Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. And actually, his story did that for me. I read it and I was like, wow, that is so amazing that after all the tragedy and all the loss that he experienced, he lost an infant child. His wife was, her dress was set on fire accidentally, and she ended up getting such horrible burns from it that she did not survive. He tried saving her. He did everything he could. He even got burned himself to the point that I read that he had to grow a beard to hide his scars. And if all of that wasn't enough, he lived through the Civil War, and not only just lived through it as like someone standing and not having anything invested in it, right? He had his most precious oldest son that decided to go enlist and fight for what he believed in. And Henry found out the tragic news the beginning of December of 1863, that they didn't know if his son was going to live or die. And if he did live, that there was a huge chance that he would be paralyzed. Well, God saw him through. His son did live. He was not paralyzed. But through all the tragedy, all the things that Henry lived through, experienced, that could have crushed him, that he could have just decided to stay sad and depressed and give up all hope, he didn't. He chose to believe. He chose to have faith. And we see it in the beautiful words of the song. They turned one of his poems into the song, the Christmas song I love so much, that is called I Heard the Bells on Christmas Day. And if you go read those words, it tells a beautiful story in it after you have read his story, and it resounds in my heart. It talks about, in the very last part, how God's not dead, nor doth he sleep, that wrong will fail and right prevail, and there will be peace on earth and goodwill to men. Like after all the hardship, all the things that happened throughout his lifetime, he still chose to believe and to hope that God was still going to bring about good, and that he was still going to bring about peace on earth. And friend, when I read those words, it ignited hope in my heart. And I thought, if Henry Wadsworth Longfellow can have a faith like that, I want that too. Friend, that is what your story is going to do. It is going to ignite hope in another's heart. And not just one person, God says, but in many hearts. And it's going to be a domino effect through the ages. Don't you dare give up hope right now, friend. You have so much more worth living for. You just wait and see. God is going to use you in mighty, amazing ways. I love you, friend. You're definitely not alone, and your story is far from over. So please don't give up right here, right now. There's so many more beautiful, amazing adventures that God wants to take you on and pages yet to write. Will you trust Him? I love you.